Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is once again Chaos Incarnate himself, the CEO of Zadari Enterprises and Master of 1,000 Runes, Xanatrix Zadare. I come to you today with yet another rant, as you know me for, regarding, well, for those of you who are in the know, the title should say it all. A Rainbow in Monochrome, Nijisanji's self-destructive acts. However, for those of you not in the know, let me summarize. Recently, a liver from the Nijisanji EN branch was fired for allegedly violating so many different contract elements. This liver, Selen Tatsuki, is possibly one of the most popular livers they had after a few other graduations that now seem even more suspect than they already were. We'll get to that. Selen is someone who pushed their EN branch to the next level when they were introduced as part of the second wave of EN members. She's always had a very bright personality, known for laughing with her audience, the Dragoons. As such, she was a force of positivity and a little bit of degenerative nonsense, but, internet culture is a thing. However, she has also been constantly hampered, hobbled, dragged down by Nijisanji management with various things that she sought to do, such as art competitions or video game championships that she was later told she could not do, that she was doing with money out of her own pocket, or collaborations with artists where management didn't pay them, so she did. This all came to a head with a project she had been working on for ostensibly over a year and spent at least $15,000 into. This was her cover of a song by Lily Pichu called Last Cup of Coffee, and it was meant to be a Christmas present to her entire audience, to the Dragoons, for Christmas 2023. It was up for a matter of hours, not even a day, a matter of hours, before management privated it and slapped her on the wrist. She put out a tweet, a very bitter one, saying that management had privated the video and anyone should try and re-upload it so that at least the Dragoons can hear it. Obviously, that right there can be considered a violation of the contract because it's ostensibly and technically a violation of derivative and distribution rights for a cover that belongs to Nijisanji, technically. The cover, since it's a Selen Tatsuki cover, is also a joint IP for the company. After that, she went near silent. On the 26th, she didn't really say much, and came back on the 27th, allegedly, stating that she had been in an accident and had been hospitalized for a few days, but she was doing better now and just gotten access to her phone again, and she was okay. And then went quiet again. Forever. It wasn't until February 5th, 2024, that we found out that she was terminated from Nijisanji, and they listed this long list of violations, alleged violations, which were immediately countered, not only by Selen on her past life account, Dokibird, and for those of you who say, oh no, past life stuff, Doki asked us all to reveal where she was. She literally said it in a tweet. Tell everybody where I am so they can find me again. But also collaborations she had done in the past where, she didn't do collaborations right, so we weren't able to get payment to those collaborators. And those collaborators came out of the woodwork and said, no, she paid us personally. You didn't do your jobs. Needless to say, Nijisanji was trying to damage control before Selen could say anything, even though Selen talked about it on her Dokibird account. Beyond all that, we learned that they had locked her accounts and locked her out of them on the 26th. So the tweets on the 27th are suspect. That could be management trying to, stem the tide, dam the waters, keep people from being too worried. But the hashtag Where is Selen throughout all of January kind of fucked them on that one. As for the other graduations that now seem a lot more suspect, and the termination of Zion Lanza being much more justified on Zion's end. Sure, she fucked up, and she admitted that she fucked up, but she also explained all the fucking abuse she got. But the loss of Kyo and, well, I think the biggest loss was probably Pomu. Though Fox Mom... oh, Fox Mom. We will always miss Fox Mom, but now she's Cockroach Mom. Go watch her. Go watch Matara-con. But Pomu graduated and Kyo graduated, both saying similar things, like they felt they'd done everything they could here, specifically in Nijisanji, meaning that there were things they couldn't do here. Additionally, we can look at some lesser known and lesser documented graduations and terminations in other branches, such as the termination of the entire India branch, or the terminations of multiple JP and Indonesia, and even some of the Korean branch members. Or the fact that other than Nijisanji English, every other external branch, Nijisanji Korea, Nijisanji Indonesia, etc., were later disbanded as foreign country branches and just folded directly into Nijisanji. This is worrying. This is not something that you necessarily want to see in a company. That sort of consolidation strikes of the type of restructuring you see due to financial meddling, especially if you've ever watched any of the mergers that have happened with other Japanese companies. I think the biggest one that I can think of is when Square and Enix merged. Enix was technically the larger group in that merger, but Square's the one left in power. And there was a lot of shifting and a lot of things that happened. These days, Square Enix is better, but they're still recovering, even in my opinion, to this day. Now, why is this all relevant? Well, this shows that Nijisanji's management is, at the very least, woefully incompetent, and at the very most, intentionally malicious. Because there were talks of bullying in Zion Lanza's statement, talks of bullying in Selen Tatsuki's statements. There are more stories, allegedly. These are leaks. I can't verify or corroborate their actuality, so grain of salt time, people. But there are other stories, allegedly leaked messages, showing the type of abuse and bullying, or at least the shadows thereof, between Nijisanji and its talents. Now, is it all the management? Probably not. Is it all the talents? Also, probably not. But it's enough to be noticed by most of the fan base. In fact, all of the fan base at this point is extremely distraught with Nijisanji. And how, especially with the case of Selen Tatsuki, they've tried to get ahead of the damage every time. And every time they try to get ahead of the damage, it actually does more damage. Just recently, they released a statement to their investors stating that the termination of Selen Tatsuki would have a negligent financial impact. When, on the other hand, previously collaborative markets, whether they make Nijisanji fan art or are PC gaming companies like Height PCs, who was making custom keycaps of Nijisanji stuff, have all said, Based on what we've seen with this thing with Selen Tatsuki, we are ending our collaboration. That's a big thing to do. Many collaborations for merchandise are contractual. Let me say that again, contractual. Thank you, lips, for working. I'll keep that in. Flubs show that I'm still flawed. But whether there is a clause in the contract for a mutual break or break based on performances and conduct unbecoming is irrelevant. These companies are publicly coming out saying, yeah, no more. We're not going to work with them anymore. And Height even said, yeah, we're not producing these keycaps anymore, so we're refunding everybody, and refunded everybody who ordered them. They even apologized, like, we know you were excited to get these keycaps, but in good conscience, we can't sell them anymore. Which is good. It's a good point. It's a good moral stand to take, especially when you are dealing with a company that is allegedly so corrupt. Again, we can't say for sure it's a black company, but all of the things we're seeing is a lot of corroborating evidence. This brings me to another shitty line of thinking I've been seeing, where there are a bunch of doomer-pilled assholes saying, this is no surprise, every corpo is like that. And while there are corpos, especially the other most visible corpo, HoloLive, that have made mistakes, that have sometimes not acted in the best ways possible. Examples from HoloLive include when they suspended Coco and Akai Hato when they showed their YouTube analytics, and there was an analytic that acknowledged Taiwan as a country and pissed off China. Luckily, they eventually reversed that decision because everybody was like, why the fuck would you bow to China? You're Japan. So there's that. And they've since gotten stronger on their stance on protecting their talents. One of the most redeeming moments recently for HoloLive and for COVERCorp was when some dumbass on Twitter called Marine a pedophile because she likes Lolly and Shota, which, fictional content. Whether you like Lolly or Shota or not, whether you find it weird or not, that's all fine and dandy. But what it isn't is pedophilia, because they're drawings. And they came out with a statement that was a generic statement that said, hey, if you try to defame our talent like this, we'll take you to court, which really scared the shit out of that Twitter person. And they deleted the tweet. It was really nice. But the places like HoloLive, VShojo, even Idol, or some smaller companies like PhaseConnect or Prism Project or VOMs, protect their talent and try to support them the best they can. And I think the reason for that is the differences between their staff management and also their CEOs, or at least their owners. I mean, using VShojo and PhaseConnect as an example, both Fishman, Sakana, and the Gun Run are very loud advocates, not only for their company and their talents, but for that type of anime culture. They're passionate about it. And we don't even need to go any further than Yago, Tanigo Mataoki. Again, lips, please work. Yago is extremely passionate about HoloLive. You know, there's all the memes about how none of the idols are very idol-like, and it's broken Yago's dream, and that's how we got the crying Yago face meme. But it's also very clear that he's close to his talent. There was a Yago baseball event. I'm not sure on the details. I didn't get to see a lot of it. I've only seen some clips where he interacted with the girls while doing stuff at a batting cage and performing various challenges is what it looked like. He is involved, he's passionate, and he's got a piece of himself in the company. And other management is also the same. No further do we have to look than Eugene, or A-chan, or however you want to call her, she got her own model and became technically a part of the idols, but she's still staff. They love not only the talent, but the culture and the company. Now, that's not to say that, again, they're perfect. We've heard plenty of complaints from Hollow members saying, hey, I wanted to do this thing, but management said no. But outside of the parts where their contracts say you can't do this thing and management then has to go bonk, they can basically do anything. And the best example of this that I can think of from recent time is a clip that I saw where it was an off collab between Subaru, Choco Sensei, Luna, and Botan. And they had an 8-minute section where they played a game, guess who it is when we hit their butt by the sound. Yes, Ketsu drum, and guess who it is. And if that was something that management would bonk them over, they would have gotten a ping on one of their phones that said, hey, you can't do that. And be like, oh, sorry, we can't go forward with it. But they went forward with it. So it's clear that there's a lot of leeway so long as you're within the confines of the contract in HoloLive. All this to say that I barely know anything about the CEO of ANYCOLOR, Tazumi Riku. We have a picture. It's been put on his virtual YouTuber profile from the virtual YouTuber wiki. And there are a few quotes saying that he's tried not to spend any of his money frivolously. But we also don't really see him involved with the talents. He's got a more typical lean that you would expect from a CEO, somebody who just executes things rather than somebody who is passionately involved with the company. Because most CEOs are chosen for their ability to make decisions and to delegate responsibilities in order to generate the best profits for shareholders. Now, I don't know if he's the same way, but I've certainly never heard much about him, which is a damn shame compared to his compatriots in Yago, in Sakana, in Gunrun. His compatriots are absolutely intimately involved with their corporations, with their outfits. And I think that's the deciding factor. These companies, in the end, are entertainment companies. They entertain people with talents that they've scouted. And in some cases, you need to be passionate about the entertainment in order for it to feel real, or at least feel genuine. As you'll know, I did a Geek Watch episode along with the Shades and with Mildred the Monk regarding how VTubers entertain using authenticity. That even if they aren't showing their real faces and being themselves, real name, real face, they're still portraying themselves with a slight veneer of caricature, but it's still mostly their own emotions and their own ideas. And that's the important part for all entertainment. You have to be able to reach out and touch the audience. And if Nijisanji, if ANYCOLOR, cannot allow themselves to do that with their talent, they can't seem to trust their talent enough to be able to execute that type of entertainment, they're only going to stifle them. So if we choose to follow Hanlon's razor, erring on the side of stupidity rather than malice, this is just a case of clueless managers not keeping up with the talent in order to continue to keep a chain of communication regarding their goings-on. However, if we err on the side of malice, it's even darker. And a world that has gone all black isn't even a monochrome rainbow at that point. Some corrections to make, because I know I said it wrong more than once. Yago's name is Motoaki Tanigo, or Tanigo Motoaki if you want to go by Japanese nomenclature. Yes, I make mistakes. It's going to happen, especially when I'm unscripted. Beyond that, I think I don't need to make any more. Go follow Dokibird. She deserves all of the love in the world, and she is happy to see her dragoons come back. Technically I was subscribed to her before she even joined Nijisanji, but that's a different story. But go follow Dokibird. And remember, I am Xanatrix Adare. You don't only seek the truth seeks you.